Okay, so I've got your model open here, and take a look at what you have here for your patterns on these little dimples on the face. And yeah, they're getting eaten up in the middle of the curvature of the face here. So I'm gonna go through a couple of steps to make sure that they'll stay on that curvature. And I think it has to start with the way you've created the plane tangent to this face. So we'll let's roll this thing back to your first. Well, let's see. First, I'm going to take a look at the sketches for extrusion 1. Make sure we're all constrained here. So let me get you situated here. And okay, let's see. We add some dimension on here. Put a dimension there. Another dimension. And we need a spacing dimension. Oh, you already got that. Here we go. So Y, here we go. An offset there. Okay. And now for this one, because that's an elliptical curve or arc, we're going to use a reference elliptical arc. Select our origin, select our width, select our major, then come down. We're going to pick this line or point and that point. And is that going to do it? I don't know. That's going to be a little bit of a problem. How do you, because you can't put a co-radial constraint on that, because that's for arcs, and concentric is going to be for arcs, so that won't work. But for the most part, we've got most all these constrained here. So let's get out of that sketch. So now the next thing is this monster here that you've got for this extrusion. So let's take a look here. And I'm going to just dimension this as it sits. And I'll leave that one out there. And then for this one, for this vertical line, we'll make that collinear there. And this line will make horizontal. And now let's see, dimension from that point to there. Bingo. Okay. Now that one's tied down. And let's exit that sketch. So now the next two steps you have here are these chamfers. And I'm not going to do anything with them. But then you've got your first plane here that's going to be tangent to that curved face. And let's take a look at where your first dimple is at. So we'll edit the sketch. And we are 0.085 from this edge, and let me, I want to put a dimension to the center. So there's 8.5 and 8.5. Okay. So let me roll back up here. I'm going to hide this plane. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a plane from this default plane, and I'm going to select this edge. No, remove that. I'm going to grab this point right there in that corner of the chamfer and apply that. And then from this one, we're going to put a 0.085 offset plane in there. Apply that and close. And I'm going to hide the first one. Now on this second plane, I'm going to activate a 2D sketch on it. Oh, wait, forgets. Well, no, that's all right. Here we can do, I'm going to start a line. Just click a line up near the curve and just come down here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to concentric constraint. I'm going to select this end node of the line and then the curvature of this face. And now that is at the center of this, the arc of the face edge. Okay. And then the next thing I'm going to do, let me get me turned around here. I'm going to go coincident to that edge. And now I'm going to put a dimension from this point to this point, or node to node rather, and make sure that I'm getting a line that's going to be aligned with that arc. So you might have to zoom in quite a bit there. And now this is 0.085. And now go to Insert and select Plane. And it's going to put a plane on the end of that sketch line. Right at, if it's at the opposite end, then you need to move this slider to the opposite end. So, you know, there's at the center of the arc curve, and here's at the end where it's tangent to the face of your part. And then click Apply on that and close that. And now on this plane, we can start a sketch. And notice that it creates an origin point right there at the tangent point. So now we can go in here and do a circular arc. And finish this off with a line. And then dimension this. It's 0.1 and a radius 0.05. And now, as long as you have, where's your view? As long as you have sketch visibility turned on, when you go in to create your revolve here, you're going to be able to zoom in and select that edge and vertical line as your axis. And OK that. Okay, now in order to get this thing to pattern along this curve, the first pattern you're going to do is a circular pattern. But before we get that far, I'm going to back out here one time. I need to install an axis in here. So let me go back to this sketch and go up here. I'm going to insert axis from sketch, and I'm going to select that end node, click Apply, and now we have an axis down here, which is going to be the axis of rotation for this first pattern. So we got our revolve here. Go to circular pattern. Our revolve is selected. And we want to select this first option here, which is going to be angle between. So we'll cut our angles down pretty small. And our center is going to be this new axis. And there we can see our dimples starting to pop up. So we'll count them off, and we're going to need, what, 21, 22? Okay. And we'll okay that. And then the next step will be a linear pattern. And here we'll use an axis, x-axis for the linear pattern. And here we're going to select our first dimple and the pattern. And our spacing, you want that to be 0.15 or whatever, and then count out however many you wanted here. And be aware that as you start adding geometry here, this does start getting to be kind of heavy on the modeling. So what was this? You had 22 in there before. Yeah, it looks like. Okay. All right. So now you can hide this plane. And your next feature is going to be offset from this plane in between them. And your pattern distance was, let it rebuild here, 0.15. So now we need to insert a new plane. We want to go in between the first two rows, so it's going to be your offset distance divided by 2. And then we'll hide the first plane. And now on the second plane, activate another sketch. And again, we'll draw a line from this face down here. We'll add a coincident constraint. And it's going to end up on this same axis that we inserted before, so we don't need a new axis. But we need to make this coincident to that line and then dimension it off of this edge. And again, making sure we can get this that set up in the center. And then again, we're going to go to Insert, Plane, and that just snaps up to this endpoint. Click Apply on here, and then again on this new plane, activate a 2D sketch. Create our arc. Close it with a line. And we'll make this coincident to that. Make sure the line is coincident to this point too. And then we'll dimension 0.05. And then we can rotate, zoom in and select this vertical edge. And OK that. And then again, we're going to do a circular pattern. Our center is going to be this axis down here. And it's going to remember our setting as far as increment and number from the last one. So all we got to do here is just reduce our count by 1. And there we have that filled in. And then again, we'll do a linear pattern. And we'll grab the original and the pattern. Linear pattern. We'll grab an axis. And let it think for a while. And there we have that filled in with all the dimples. Okay. So that's pretty much the process of going through that for setting up a plane that is going to be tangent at the point of your first dimple, and then using a circular pattern to pattern along the curvature of the arc or the face, and then a horizontal linear pattern to go across the face. So anyway, I'll leave this one, stop this one right here. I'll continue on and finish off the rest of these, but for the purpose of this video, I'll end this right here and hope that helps you out. Talk to you later.